Hey guys, so today I'm going to be building a big old basking area for the two turtles in this 125-gallon tank behind me here. It's going to be made out of just recycled like pallet wood, but you could also just go buy wooden boards from the store, but I'd recommend using recycled pallet wood. Normally you can get pallets for free pretty easy on Craigslist, and then I just use some normal nails, and it's a basking area. It's really big and it works really well for this tank. And I mean, with wood you can customize it for whatever size tank you have. So let's get started. To start off, I drew up a plan for this build, and then I measured everything properly to fit the 125-gallon aquarium, and then I just started cutting. Now my original idea changed a few times, and my original wood choice changed, so there's a lot of things that I didn't end up working with in the end, but I think it all turned out really well, and it's definitely a lot different than I first started, but I'm glad that I drew something up in the beginning. I think that's extremely important, so then you know what exactly you're building. So here I have the final project in the garage, and then I have what I thought the final project in the enclosure would be like. And as you can see, this is me changing it from what I had in the garage onto what I had on the last clip. But basically what the issue is that on the front piece that went down to the water, it didn't go down far enough, and it didn't work very well. They couldn't climb up on it. But the side piece worked surprisingly really well, and also a lot of sawdust came off this wood. Now I blew it off and everything and made sure that it was no sawdust or whatever, but it really didn't help very much, so I had to adjust it, and then I ended up adjusting it again later on. So after changing the front slope again, I realized that I just wouldn't be able to make a system where the turtles would be able to have enough space to crawl onto it there. So I ended up changing it into just two boards and then two slopes on the side, and it's been working really well. And then once I was done with that, I added the UVB light, and I already have the heat light there as well. You can see what the original plan for the enclosure was right here. So here we have the top of the 125-gallon. I basically drew a rough sketch, and then I drew it again a little bit more detailed, and then I put all the measurements here. So this was the original idea, and that's not what ended up happening. I just ended up adding another flat piece here and then another slope there, and I'll show you that in a second. But actually the whole idea of this was that I was going to expanding foam this whole thing, make it like connected to the tank, maybe a plant, and then just have like rocks across. But I'm definitely not going to be doing that now, just because I really like the look of just the wood. I think that it looks really nice, and I might try that with another project. The one thing is I have some pretty cool things coming. A huge polyudarium, a huge terrarium with like a ginormous tank in it. Okay, so that's coming up. And then also I'm going to have to make a polyudarium for PD. Now PD is my Mississippi map turtle. Right now he's dry docking because he has shell rot, but he does not like deep water. So I've kept him. I know what he likes and I know what he dislikes. I've kept him in deep water. He hates it. He will not swim at all. But if you keep him in shallow water, he will spend a lot more time in the water. He'll eat and everything like that. So he's definitely going to be getting a polyudarium at some point. Don't know where I'm going to put it. Don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it somehow because that's what he needs. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do, but I think it's going to be really cool. He's not a very large turtle, so I think I'll be able to figure something out. But that was the original plan, and now this is what it turned out to be. So as you can see, this is working really well, considering Pee-wee is right here. So we have the heat light. Now this is actually too high of a wattage. I want it to get to a wattage that they can sit right under it, but they really can't because it's way too hot. Like, it's just really hot. So that's why they always kind of sit right here. But even so, the UVB reaches them no matter what. This thing goes down 21 inches. so that's pretty good, and then I'll replace that when it needs replaced. I put this here so then they wouldn't crawl out, because they will just fall off. Pee-wee's done it once. It was not fun, but she's fine. And then over here we have the two pieces right there, and then we have those things in the back that to stop them from falling back. They're not real smart. And then right here, this stops them from falling back as well. But surprisingly and thankfully, they don't try to come this way off the basking area. So like, as you can see, just goes right into the water there. And maybe Lewis does, but Pee-wee definitely doesn't, because if Pee-wee tried, she has a slider. I think they're called sliders because they dive off of, they slide off of logs when you come and see them. So she would probably just slide, you know, her body couldn't turn that much that fast. She would probably just slide right off. But luckily she doesn't do that. And then I thought about putting a piece like this across the whole thing, but the thing about that is that they would crawl over it and then they would fall off. But the reason they don't crawl over this is because it's small, so there's other ways to go around, basically. So it works pretty well, except, like I said, there's sawdust. So this stuff right here, and then a lot of this stuff in the water is actually sawdust, and it's kind of gross and annoying. But I think after getting this tank properly set up, right now it doesn't even have like mechanical filtration, it literally just has a pump. So once I get proper filtration on here, that won't be a problem anymore, and then just do some water changes and everything will be fine. So as you can see, there's a pretty obvious reason. I think this looks really nice in my opinion, so that's why I'm not going to be expanding foam, like doing expanding foam. But like I said, I'll definitely be doing that for other enclosures in the future, polydariums and stuff like that. It's going to be really, really cool. So hope you guys enjoyed. Have a fantastic day. See you next video.